add some, all right, now we're going to move toward turquoise, toward a lighter blue turquoise. And like I said, I'm going to go back to my detail.
Oh, too light.
Well, we'll blend it in. It might not be too light for being near the shore. I kind of like that. Okay, but I'm going to try to get that horizon a little deeper. I'm only doing this to sort of give you a lesson while you're doing the work.
Okay, now, are my strokes straighter, Teach?
Let me see. That's looking great. That's looking great. Those are drippy. Those a little more, you know, see, catch those drips.
Okay.
Make it nice and straight. Don't get nervous. Okay.
Okay, what do you think?
Let me see.
I need a little bit more paint down here, I think.
I think you do. Yep. A little more turquoise. Oh, that's looking really pretty. Really pretty. So we don't want to fuss with this too much longer because we need to add some things. Yep. Don't look, make it look, see how nice and striated it looks? It has some, gives it some depth. That's enough.
Okay. I can't
all right,
get
now.
by the bottom. I need to get by the bottom.
All right, well then try this, you know. Try this. Well, okay, while you're cleaning up that edge along the bottom, what I'm going to do is again take one of those feathery broad brushes. And by the way, a friend of mine had a really good trick. If you're brand new and you're starting out as a painter, just go get yourself some thinning shears. Cut that
Isn't
stuff.
that
Yeah,
a great
yeah.
idea?
Isn't that a great idea?
Great idea. I wish it had been my idea.
Yeah, in fact, I'm going to put that on the website, you know, because we have a whole list of items that you need to start out painting. Okay, now what I'm going to do right here is I'm going to just take the feathered end of this brush and put a little white in it. And I'm going to just, because you know how the sun hits the top of the water and it makes it look a little on the shiny side. Okay? And I want to make sure that they're nice and straight across like that.
That's wonderful.
You like
it changes it immediately.
Okay, then here, you try it.
Okay.
Look, yeah. Okay, they're looking great, great. Just pull it all the way to the end so it doesn't look like you just came along with a brush. A little more white. You just need a little more white.
Any water?
White, just right in there, right on the tips of those things.
Any water?
Not right now.
Okay, and on the tips of it?
Yeah, right on the tip, because then you'll get that feathery, oh yeah, okay, okay. That is terrific. All right, and then just take that a little bit across like that. All right, now we're going to take that very same feathery brush, get a little cleaned up, and we're going to go back into that gold, because that light is going to play off the...
Oh, you must be holding it very lightly.
Yeah, very lightly. Okay, I'm going to let you hold it on that side. A little gold, and then we're going to do a little silver. Because sometimes when you look at the water and the sun is shining on it, it looks like silver and gold, you know, or diamonds. That's the effect that we're trying to capture. And then I got another feathery one here. Just like blend that in a little bit. But like I said, if you blend it too much on an iridescent, you lose the shine. Okay, just a little here, a little there.
So you're adding, what color is that?
That's silver.
Silver.
Yep, just like that. Okay, now as you notice, what we're doing is we are building from the back forward. So this is the background when we finish the sand, and then you build all of your trees and any other, all of the other items in the painting.
Grasses.
Right. You'll work out to the very edge, which is the hibiscus hedge at the bottom of the painting.
Betsy, this looks a little bit awkward here, like I didn't get all of the dimples covered for the board.
Right, I see that.
About that?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I'm going to let you do that. I'm going to let you blend and mix the color to match what is already there, sort of as a, if you will, like a patch. But you're right. That's a bare board you can see under there, and you want to cover that up. So go ahead and try it. Oh, you got a brush. All right, go right ahead, and I'll be right here to help you if you're got a problem with the colors. See what
I already have a problem. It's a different color.
Well,
okay, white. I want to do white, right?
You want to do white? Well, yeah, you go ahead and do white.
Okay.
And be careful of your elbow in the paint.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and I'll come over here and I'll just help you even that out. What do you think?
I like that.
Okay, now we've got those little dimples covered. I know that
Oh, I just messed up.
you know that you thrive on perfection. So I'll accommodate that. You know that I never took a lesson. I'm sort of a self-taught person, so I learned just the way you do, by, you know, like seeing something that doesn't look right and then just work on it, or working from a picture and trying to get that picture right. Okay, are you ready
That's how I'm going to learn.
Okay, I think we're ready then to put the rest of the sand in, unless you've got, oh no, I see you got to get that little edge there. And don't forget to keep water in that brush. Okay.
That's what I forgot. To
Yeah,
keep the
okay.
water heavy on the brush.
Okay, let's just get that lump out of there. All right. Okay, here's clean water, because we're moving, again, we mentioned it before, but we're moving from blue to white. And so we don't, you know, we want to get all of our water and our brushes clean. Again, that's another reason to have a sink real handy. Which brush are you going to use?
The big brush.
That's right, the big brush. Here it goes.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to stand.
With a lot of water?
A lot of water.
And white.
And white.
Okay. Well,
Okay, then you got two whites here that you can pick from. Always have plenty of white on your palette.
Okay.
Some people will...
No, not enough water.
No, you need more water. Some people will just put a little dab of every color paint on their palette. But I recommend that you put on the palette that paint which you are going to use in that painting.
Could you move that?
Yes, sure. Okay. Nice.
Even.
Nice and even. Big broad strokes, fast. Like I said, I don't care if you get it in all over my garage or my shirt. You know, cover it real good. Okay. Okay, very good, very good. I see it's covering really nicely. A few little dimples down here.
Except at the top. I'm afraid I don't want to ruin that median
beach line
of the beach.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Now there's a way to cover that up. We're not doing that in this painting, but I can show you a little trick that sometimes, you know how when the water splashes up, bubbles up onto the shoreline? Mm-hmm. Okay, well you could take one of your feather brushes. Okay, I just need that dry fine. And just take that and just bubble up the little foam that comes, you know, at the end of the thing.
Oh, isn't that clever? I love it.
You like that?
Oh,
all
yeah,
right,
I do.
Then finish it up. We'll just put foam on the beach in this painting.
Okay.
Okay? And that way
So
you
what
don't
do
have
I do? Just pound
you
it?
pound it.
And I
yeah.
use this little
Actually
brush
that was
almost
this.
has nothing left.
That was
It
this.
was that?
But I worked it down to that. I love that brush.
Okay, are we ready?
Yeah.
So I just
A little more up on the water than on the sand. There you go, a little splash.
Is it too heavy?
No, it looks good. If you like it, I like it. By the way, who are you doing this painting for?
Gee, I don't know.
Is this a gift?
It might be a gift. It might be a gift, or I could use it on my seawall.
Oh, that would be great on your
I could really use a new
seawall.
painting on my seawall. I have one that's 8 years old this year.
Okay, well that's a great idea. While this beach is wet, we're going to do a little something else to give a little texture to the sand, because it looks pretty flat right now. Okay, you can use this and dab it in some of this gold and just put a beach line in, put a dune line in.
Oh.
Okay, now actually we're going to need a little
What color? Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah, in the brown sack there. See if you can come up with some sienna. But this will just sort of give you an idea of where that line is going.
Rich brown.
I'm using that iridescent gold, but I'm blending it so that it's losing its iridescent and it's just taking over as almost an ochre color. Okay.
This is about all of our brown.
Actually, I think you're in the wrong sack. Here.
Okay.
There you go.
Oh, yes. It helps
Listen,
to look in the right sack.
Here's the sienna. I'm going to use a little dab of that. It has a red-brown effect, but we're going to dampen that up by putting it in some gold. That's a very, very potent color.
What is it?
Sienna, burnt sienna.
Burnt
Yeah,
sienna.
yeah, very
And what are
potent.
we
It almost
doing
looks
here?
red. We're drawing in the. It's almost pink looking. I don't like that so much. We're drawing in the dune line. You know how there are flat beaches in Florida, but then there are some that have a little line to them that's a little hill, a dune, where the you know, the railroad vine will grow down the hill and the sea grass will grow in it. Okay, they're subtle
and the
hills.
hibiscus grow in the background.
Right, or the beach sunflower. Okay, those are just lines. We're going to come back and we're going to
It's like a template.
yes,
Okay.
right. This is going to give us some direction to where the dunes and the beach or the sand drifts
Okay.
will lie. Now, what I like to do while it's still wet is to come back, and I think if you have some black in there, let's add some black, just a little bit of black. But I like to highlight that sand by putting very intense white back in there.
Purple. Would you put your
I think you're
black
getting to
in
it.
the purple?
Oh, I could have made that mistake, but no, you're in the blue bag.
Okay.
Okay, can you begin to see this texture of the beach that we're creating? Is that clear to you, or do we?
No, I can see it.
Okay. Okay, now that's too dark,
Yes.
and we're going to
black
blend that
scares
in.
me.
Oh, okay.
Are you using that same stroke? Let's see that stroke.
Okay,
Can
we
the
just
viewers
squiggle
see
a
that
line in
stroke?
there.
Can they see it?
Okay, I'm going to let you squiggle a line in there, and then feather it in.
Like
with
over
your,
the top of this one? Or an additional one?
how about down in there?
Okay.
Okay. And then feather it in with this. Okay.
Is mine dark enough?
Yeah, it looks good. It looks great.
Is that how you did it? Is that
Yeah,
the
because
motion?
what's happening is that the shadow is being created by the hill, okay, by the drift. So the shadow will be blended up behind the
So show me the motion.
okay.
Okay.
It's just a feathering. It's a feathering. All right, how's that?
That looks terrific.
Okay, our next lesson will be then going back and highlighting the clouds, determining where the light falls from the sky onto the beach, and therefore dictating where the shadows in the painting will be. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time. As you remember, in our last segment, we were completing the painting in terms of getting all of the space filled on the first go-round. What we've done is we have let the top part or the sky hard dry so we can come back and give life to the clouds and determine where the direction of the light will be. While we were letting this dry, we completed the rest of the painting, the water and the beach. So now we're going to begin again today by bringing that light onto the painting. Okay, so I'm thinking that this is a bright sunny day, the sun is high in the sky, and it's directing from this side of the painting. Okay, so that means all of the shadow, all of the light and dark will emerge from this side of the painting. So keep that in mind as we progress. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Then I noticed that you kept the cover on your paints. That's great because that means they're nice and moist when we get to this next section. Okay, Sandra.
Well, I did that, and I'm all suited up in my worst paint clothes. My best paint clothes.
Well, you look mighty nice to me, so
So we're ready.
we're ready to go. Okay. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to, once again, remember, where is that light coming from? Okay, so where is the brightest part of the cloud going to be? You know when you look up in the sky and there you see the sort of a shadowy, misty look of a cloud? Okay, where is that bright edge going to come?
I think it would tip the clouds.
Excellent.
on
That's
this
exactly
side.
right. Okay, how are we going to make that happen? That's now the question. We're going to take one of our little detail brushes, and we're going to have one of our rags. You know, we always have to have a dry rag handy, because we use this not to clean up spills and what have you, but also sometimes just to help make a detail in the painting. So, all right, what we're going to do then is we're going to get our brush nice and wet, and I'm going to do it first, and I'm going to let you, all right?
Okay, show me.
Okay, we're going to just, in a rotating manner, and sometimes what I do is I just get in there with, do a little finger painting. Okay, can you see now how that light is hitting the top of that cloud and giving it some life that it didn't have? And you remember when we did this, we laid these clouds in while the sky blue was nice and wet, and that gave us that misty look. Okay, can you see how now the light shining above, hitting the top of the cloud, directs the sun and now gives it some energy and some vitality? Okay.
It sure does, and it definitely changes it like immediately. The cloud just kind of takes a shape. It gives it that definition. It's wonderful.
Okay,
Show me.
now
Show
it's
me.
now it's your turn then.
Okay.
Now, you know how I use the finger paint? Sometimes I just use also the edge of my rag. So
Okay.
you try it. I'll
All
watch.
right, so wet the brush,
Yep.
dip it in the white,
Mm-hmm.
grab my rag, then rotating motion.
Yeah, just like a circular, you know, rotating motion. That's it. Right to the edge of the cloud, hon.
Right to the edge.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, now before it dries, you want to work while it's wet. Be sure to work while it's wet. Use your finger now. You can
Okay.
use your rotating again. You want to do that circular until it just
Okay.
blends in. What you're doing is blending. You know how when you put your makeup on and you sort of blend it in? That's what you're doing here with that cloud. Okay. That's terrific. All right, now do you just keep coming down the edge of that cloud.
Stay out to the edge.
Stay out to the edge and be sure to blend it in before it dries. See, now this is a
now
thin.
I'm rotating it.
Yes, she's working with a thin layer of paint right now, so that means it's going to dry even faster. That means you want to work fast. There you go. You're doing great. Jeez, that's great. All right, keep coming down.
So I touch the entire outside of
That's
it.
right. That's right.
Do I need more paint?
No, that looks great. I mean, you'll sort of get to know when you need a little more paint. The key thing is blend, 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 blend. Make it look real natural. That's great.
This blending is better now. This
Yup.
blending is.
Looks good. In fact, I'm seeing something here. Keep going, and I'm just going to add, because what I see here is I see even the slightest evidence of another cloud formation right here that sort of bubbles up on top of that cloud. There we go. Okay,
Oh, yes,
but it's
that's
still
even-
the light. All right, we want to just finish that out.
Okay.
Okay, and I'm gonna help you out by starting on this side. Okay, you keep going over there, and I'll work on this side.
Okay.
What a
now
team, huh?
I'm rotating.
Yep, just that circular motion. That circular motion, great. All right, can you see now how that
Yes.
light hitting the clouds gives it such vitality?
I can now. What about up here? It's a
Yeah,
little
that you can go
fuzzy.
back now. Well, see, that's now drying, and you can sort of get a feel for whether you got the intensity that you liked. Don't lose that roundness.
Okay.
Um,
Okay, I'm losing.
And then you can go back and add to it. That so best that you go in on with a lighter hand, that you can go back and intensify.
Show
What
me
we did is I thought we got a little heavy on the white. Okay, so with that, and so I just came over here, wetted the rag just a little bit, and then blended it out. That circular motion, just like a cloud, you know, the air is moving in a circular way, creates these puffy clouds. You're doing the same thing, creating the same motion with your brush. Keep on going here, it's looking great. And I'm going to help you on this side so that we can move along. And once we get these clouds finished and highlighted, and you get the feeling again of that vibrancy, that will quickly dry because that's a very light application of paint. And then we'll begin now to move forward from the background, which is sky, clouds, water, beach, to trees, beach grass, and then we'll move all the way forward to that hibiscus hedge that is what you look through to get to the beach. Okay, we're gonna go back here and continue to highlight those.
Okay.
Just mostly to the left side, your left side of the cloud. Okay, just a little bit here.
It's a little wet.
Okay. All right, now while I'm doing this, I see one little place I don't think we got, which is like up here. Just a little wispiness to, and maybe you can like pull this back into the cloud. You see that little thing that's sort of like bump?
Okay.
See if you can't pull that bump back into the body of the cloud. Okay. Okay. Okay, there we have it. Next thing we're going to do
Yes, that corrected it. That was the right thing.
Did great. Next thing we're going to do, far away. What's the furthest away thing now in the painting? As I've said so many times, you always want to work from the very furthest back to the very, forward. The last thing being that hedge. Okay, what's the furthest thing in the painting now?
It's taking us out into the horizon.
Right, so what's on the horizon line in the original painting that we're doing? The beachheads.
Little islands.
Those islands. Let's lay those islands in. I'm going to let you do that.
Okay.
That's right. Yep. All right. I want you to just draw a very thin line of white. You got your white on your brush. I'm going to come this way.
Small brush. I use a small brush still.
Actually, we're going to use this. It's a little heavier than that thin line one, but we want some heft to that island.
Is this a good one?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
Okay.
And which edge do I use? The front,
the
flat?
very skinny, not the flat. That's going to be too wide. You want to use the heel, the heel of that.
The heel.
Yeah. Okay. All right, just bring it right across. There you go.
Now, I must not have had enough paint. It's getting very dry.
Yeah, all right, let's get a little water and a little paint. Okay. And what you want to do is you want to draw that edge out. See, this is a little wider here. You've seen it a million times out there on the horizon. Okay. And then you want to draw it down to almost a point, just the way it does in nature. You want to just bring it down to this little edge. And now I am going to move to a skinnier brush to help me get that effect. Okay. See, yeah. Why don't you move to this brush?
Okay.
And try to straighten that line out and just draw it out a little bit skinnier.
Yes, and you can see the difference when I do it.
But you're doing it for the first time, but you're doing great.
Okay.
Okay. In fact, here's an example of where you want to just wet your little rag here and just clean that off. See how that helps you?
Oh, what a great thing. That immediately changes it.
Okay, well now you can go back and fill in just a little bit. See how that sort of doesn't look quite right over there? And mine doesn't look quite right over here. So, now see what's happening while we're laying in these little islands. Our clouds are drying, and we're going to let this first layer of white strip, we're going to let that hard dry and come back and touch that up again. Once again, we always put 2 coats, whether it's background or actual detail, because these will be going outside. And we want to be sure that we have enough paint for the durability and also the intensity of the work. Okay.
Now, mine looks white and fat, and yours looks more blended. How do I achieve that?
Well, I think that maybe you didn't use enough of that skinny side of the brush, and so perhaps it would have been better for you to start with a skinnier brush. But I think I can just maybe help fix that. Once again, in fact, I'll let you do it. See if you can make that just a little skinnier, and then if it's too dry and it just doesn't work right, you can come back with that skinny brush and correct it to your...
I think it is working. Look at that.
Okay. All right. The other thing that can help that problem is just come right up underneath it and fill it back in with that blue.
Oh, clever.
Okay. So we can clean that edge up. Okay.
Wonderful.
Okay.
That did it.
Yep. All right, now, again, we're not applying really thick coats of paint, so let's go back and see if this is dry enough to go back on top again. And I think we'll just go ahead and switch to those skinny brushes.
This one's pretty, because I have so much paint, I think it takes...
Yours is a little longer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, in that case, what we can do is we can move down the painting and start on the seagrass. You want to try that while the islands are drying?
Yes.
Okay, that means we're going to have to get another color paint, right?
Right.
Because we're moving into a green, brown, a very natural type of seagrass, sea oats type look onto the painting. Okay, let's get into our green bag.
Okay. Now we have green, which is...
Well, we have the phthalo green and sap green. I think we're going to need more in the sap green because sap green tends to be a yellow green. So if you'll find some of that. And yeah, there we go, right there. Plenty of sap. Okay, always put plenty of paint on your wet pad so that...
Okay, what about this color?
That is a fabulous color. This I have to order really special because I can't find it over the counter. And it's on our list of materials that you'll find on the website. But this is a yellow green. You'll see a lot of yellow greens, you know, in the stores, but they don't quite make it like this one does. It has a lot of depth, a lot of intensity. So yeah, this is going to be great. This is a great highlight green. All right, we also...
Doesn't matter that I just have it all spread
Well,
all over?
I try to keep things, you know, like greens together, blues together, whatever, but it's not that critical. I mean,
Okay.
you just need the paint accessible.
Good.
All right, now, one of the other colors that we're going to need is this sienna, because you want it in that brown family also, because when you look out into any kind of beachscape, you'll see that there's sort of a mixture of green. It's not just one flat green color. It's a combination of new green, you know, fresh green, newborn green, and then all the way to things that are sort of dying off. So we want some color in the yellow to brown. So we have a little bit of this already. I'm going to add some, and then we have some yellow.
What color is this?
This is sienna.
Sienna. All right.
Okay. Now, we've taken some time here to talk about color. I wonder if these islands are dry yet. I think I'll just go ahead and go and fix that up and move along. How about yours?
It's on its way. It's
Okay,
not there yet.
I'm going to do mine. So we'll start on this side. Up. That's an oops. See how I got a little too much water in my brush that time. Not enough paint.
Did you see, Betsy, what you did? That's a...
What's that?
You dabbed it on your glove. That's a good reason to wear a glove.
Oh, I didn't even know I did that. Okay, what we're doing now is we're letting those islands dry. And that, you know, that's another point about acrylics. It's just wonderful to paint with acrylics because in no time those islands are dry and we can get back to them. But while they are drying, we're going to go ahead and lay that seagrass in. And that gives me an opportunity to mention that this brush again, that this is one of those throwaway brushes I mentioned earlier that has already through time gotten nice and feathered and textury looking. So that's what we're going to use here, Sandra.
Okay.
But this is a new one. But I just want to show you a little tip that you can get yourself thinning shears and take a new brush if that's what you want. If you don't want to wait, you know, a couple of 20 paintings later to have that texture, you can go ahead and use that thinning shears and get that feathery look to create texture like seagrass. Okay, you ready? You got clear water?
I'm ready. I have clear water. I'm set to go.
Okay. Well, then let's go ahead and check. We have several of these feathery brushes, but I think it'd be best if you start with this, you'll have more control if you start with the one that size.
All
You
right.
know, after a little experience, you could go with a wider and then work fast with the thin brush after that. But let's go ahead now. This is a situation where this is not one color. We talked about that. It's going to be a combination of, you know, a new green and old green, so to speak. And so we want to blend our brush. We want to layer the paint into our brush. So we're going to dab a little sap, get a lot of water on
A
there.
lot of water.
Okay. We're going to dab a little sap green, a little
On the
yellow.
edges?
Yeah, just
On
on
the
the
tip?
edges, but enough to really carry some paint onto the.
Okay.
Okay, a little yellow. That's cadmium. Okay, and just a touch of sienna. You know, that is a very powerful color. Yeah, okay. And see what, that might not be quite
No,
enough.
not enough
Yeah.
touching?
The good news is that we can always correct anything if we don't like it. Okay, a little more water. Okay, and just a little. Okay, and if it drips, then we'll just fix it. All right. We know that there's a slight breeze, and so the breeze that's coming here is just lifting that seagrass a little in this direction. So you go ahead and lay it in, starting
dune.
on the dune, like it's growing a little bit behind the dune.
Okay.
Okay? Okay, see how strong that sienna is, and I went
Very.
and put some more back in there. All right, let's go a little higher. Okay, yeah, that's it. Little higher. Okay, a little higher on that side. Okay, great. Now it's a
It's
little
beautiful.
heavy. It's a little heavy. So what we want to do is take that skinny brush. Okay, maybe get a little even, and
white?
draw that out. Draw it out with water. With water. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm going to move the water over to you so you have it real handy.
And which edge do I use?
Really skinny edge, the heel. We're going to call that the heel of the brush. Okay, and I'm going to help you out here with, here we go, just draw it out so you got a nice wispy, light breeze, light ocean breeze. Get that rag and drip, yeah, catch the drip. Okay, you see how what's happened here is that she's carried a lot of paint into that heavy brush, but to get that fine wispy seagrass look,
Drip.
she can use that skinny brush and all that paint to create that feel. Okay, you want to be sure that you fill all those little dimples in the texture of the board. Okay? All right, now it's still coming from over here, so we want to take some of that
I didn't get it
paint.
close enough to the edge?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, just draw it all the way over.
That's it.
Okay, just keep working it with the water. You have some time as long as you keep it from drying
Good thing I
hard
have
on
this
you.
rag, isn't it?
Yeah, got to have a rag with you at all times. Okay, I'm going to let you work on that and keep going. Just keep going. And I'm going to show the folks over here then, because my island's dry on this side. Okay, just draw that out, you know, with a little urgency, okay, because you don't want it to, yeah, and what you're going to find is that the bottom, when you look out in the real world, out on a beach at seagrass, you'll notice that the grass itself puts a shadow at the root line. Okay, so you want this darker at the root line and lighter at the top. So I'm going to ask you to move to this lighter green, okay, a little green and a little white, and at the top, as you draw this out, add a little lightness. All right, you want to try that?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's this, what color is that?
This is yellow green. This
Yellow
is that
green.
Rembrandt yellow green.
That's the new growth.
Yeah, that's the new, well, it's the actual now. This is the new growth plus. It is also the lighter green that the sun is hitting at the top of the seagrass. Okay, keep going there, and I'm going to start to flesh out this
Okay.
island out
Keep
here.
dragging or
Yes.
go with another?
I think you can still add a little and get a little more definition in that
Okay.
seagrass, get a little more lighter on the top. This looks a little heavy in burnt sienna. I think I would perhaps add a little green, a little sap green to that.
Okay.
There's your sap green. Okay, so up here what we're going to do, folks, is we're going to put in a few little, let's call them mangroves out there on the island, and some palm trees. And that's a very gentle touch of a little yellow and a little sap green. We're going to stay in the same family of greens, yellows, and browns because it's all pretty much in that same feel. When you look out at a beach, you don't see like a real, you see a variety of plant life, but it's all in that same kind of mood of color. Okay, I'm starting with my darker, and then I'll highlight it with a lighter. Now, this is another consideration here is the fact that the light is coming, as we discussed earlier, from the left-hand side of our painting. Okay, so whenever we have an opportunity to use that knowledge, we might want to make, for instance, this side of the mangrove a little darker. We might use a little Prussian blue in there. And again, there's always a shadow cast at the bottom just because the mangroves are casting a shadow on the beach because the sun is hitting the top. Okay, how are you doing over here?
What do you think? Is this too heavy still
It's
right here?
still a little heavy. Let's see if this were still, oops, can you
I'll
catch
get it.
that? All right, so as I was doing earlier, we're just gonna put little tiny, tiny strokes, almost like touching the board. Just touch the board, because it's far away and it really is little. And here you're trying to create an illusion because we're looking at a one-dimensional board that we are trying to create depth in. So by doing smaller, further out, bigger as you get closer in, you sort of trick the eye that way. All right, now we're going to let that set and then move over to the palm trees. All right, we're going to put, I think, 3 palms over there. Yep. One's going to be standing straight up like this. Oop, I got a little too much black. Okay. All right, once again, I just want to remind you that I'm putting this in first, but I will be going back over it. Once again, because we need a lot of paint on the board, it's going outside, and you also get more intensity. You're doing great. Keep going. So, all right, now we said earlier that the sun is coming on this side. So, what we need to do is ever so finely, with a very fine brush, is we want to create a highlight on the light side of the tree trunk. Now, boy, this is a little hard, a little challenging because it's so skinny. Okay, it's so skinny and so far away. So I'm going to just try my best. Maybe got a little too paint. Keep going.
Okay.
Okay, and that gives me, what that shows is the light is now shining and hitting that side of the tree trunk. All right, now I'm going to move along. I'm going to let that dry good. And I'm going to go to sort of a shadowy, not pure black, but a little muffled gray. And I'm just going to very ever so lightly put a little fleck of a shadow of that tree on the island. That tree is big enough and gets above the mangroves enough that it's going to cast a shadow in the real world on that beach. And because the light is coming this way, the shadow will go in this direction. And then once we do all of our palm trees and we have all of the shadows of those trees going in that direction, the mind and the eye will begin to perceive light in the painting. All right, now I'm going to rinse and keep going down with the other 2 palm trees on this side. Now, the others are curvy palms. You know, they're bent palms. They're a little more exposed to the wind out there on the point. So, okay, that's not quite enough. We're both in the same pot here. Go right ahead. Okay. Okay, this is going to have a little shadow, and now we're going on to the next palm. And that's going to have a little shadow. Okay. Again, the light is coming from this side. So what we're going to do is, ever so skinny, we're going to try to get a little white on this side of this right here. And right here. As the tree bends down, the light doesn't really get underneath there, but it does hit the top of the trunk of the tree. Okay.
I think I'm about wrapped up here.
Oh, you're looking really good. All right. Why don't you start your side of the island? Did you get a chance to see any of that?
Yes.
Okay. Well, why don't you just try on your own then, and
now
I'll
tell
keep
me-
going here.
Tell me what size brush that I would use.
Okay. You
to
need
use
this
that.
long, skinny one. Let me see. You got it.
Okay. So
Okay.
I can do the mangrove type trees here.
Yeah,
with
those little bushes.
little
Right.
bushes. Okay.
All right. And you just ever so gently, just a little bit of paint on
Just tap it.
the end of that brush.
Now, and what's my color?
Well, you can see we're working in green once again. Now the light is going to hit your side a little differently. Keep that in mind. All right, but we know that the mangroves cast a shadow to the bottom, so the bottom is going to be darker than the top. So I would start again with a little sap green.
Sap green.
For the bottom.
Okay.
Start from the bottom and move up.
Okay.
I'd say about to the end of this cloud you want those mangroves. All right?
Okay.
So just go
Just
ahead
tap
and
it?
tap it. Let's see. Good, good, good. Oh, that's excellent. Don't get them too big. That's about the right size. You don't want to get them too much bigger than that because then they won't look far away.
Nice.
That's the other reason why these trees are not very tall, and they're real skinny because they're far away.
Now I have that color. Should I tap another color?
Well, I want
into
you to
that?
look at that and look at this. And what do you see that's different?
Those are more rounded and bushy, and they have a shadow to them.
Okay, and the reason they have a shadow is because, or that appears to be a shadow, is that you've taken some light colors like a little yellow, little white, that's cadmium, this is that yellow green, and mixed it a little bit and touched the top. Okay? So it makes the bottom look darker,
I see.
creating a shadow.
I see.
It is always the play of light and dark. In paintings and life, it's just God's will. Okay. All right, that's good. I think you need, I think you can bring a little more green in there. Okay, and because we're thinking that the original growth of that mangrove is further back on that island and it's trailing. So try to maybe either make that a little bigger or this a little skinnier down in here.
Yes.
Okay.
A little skinny.
And while you're doing that, I'm going to start to do the fronds of the palm tree. And once again, the same kind of technique that we used on the mangroves, I'm going to lay it in with a darker color and then highlight it with a lighter. So I'll start with that sap green, maybe put a little burnt sienna in there. Okay. Again, skinny little brush, the heel side, the real skinny side of the brush, and we do a little arc.
Are you turning the brush?
Yep, I'm turning the brush. I'm really got a lot of control. I'm even moving my hand down on the stem of the brush. Okay, I'm trying to get this skinny.
Back up a little bit, Bessie.
Trying to get this skinny.
And how many do you have? Do you usually have a number? Or?
Yeah, I do actually. I have a minimum of 7
Okay.
fronds. Okay. Now, because it's far away, you will not really see distinctively the palm leaves. So the leaves are the part of the palm that come from the frond itself. So I'm going to just sort of dull that appearance because it's so far away you really can't count those leaves.
Okay.
All right. You see as I'm adding a little of those leaves in there. Now I'm going to put a little black in there only because we are on the dark side of the tree. Why are we on the dark side of the tree?
Because the sun's coming from the other way.
That's
the
right.
light.
That's right. So what's happened in real life is that the sun hits this first, this side of the tree first, casts a shadow on the other side. Now, if the sun were totally up or quite dark enough, I don't think. You want to keep in mind that. All right, now while you're doing that, oh, that looks good. I think that is good. We can straighten that out by just adding a little dark. I see that you got that feathered a little bit. Just be real.
Yes,
Woo, pick that up with the. Here you go. All right, now what we're going to do is take the dark side of the tree trunk, and we're going to put some black and some brown oxide, some raw umber, and then we're going to trail this down. And if you'll get your brush ready to feather that in. Okay, you want to feather that in from the top like this, right up in here. You come right behind me and feather that in. And I'll just continue on the bottom. Got a little hump in this. Okay, not too much water. You want that a dry brush as you're feathering. You're taking the two wet paints and blending them together. Excellent. Very good. Okay, I'm even going to try to pull that up a little bit. Oh, I'm messing that up.
And it's good you can do it with your fingers.
Yep. Sometimes that's what it takes. All right, now, what we're going to do is, this is a little smudgy, but you know, the good thing is when you paint something, when you're painting botanicals or beach scenes or, there's imperfection everywhere. So you can sort of chalk it up to imperfection. But while you're doing that, I'm going to come from the top again. And it doesn't really matter. You can do this from the bottom or the top. We're just working together here on it, so it's convenient for me to start here. All right, we're going to put some of those growth marks in that palm.
Growth marks.
All right, you want to do it then? Here.
Okay.
While it's wet, it's better. You want to try to space them about, right.
Like a curve,
like a curve.
apostrophe?
That's good. Okay, just one.
Okay.
Do it first.
And the
do it
flat of
right.
the brush?
A little further down. That's a little too. I think that's a little too close.
Can we rub it out?
Oh, I'm gonna try.
Okay,
Not bad.
perfect.
Okay, come down a little bit further.
This way.
Yeah, I want you to see the distance, approximate. Try to keep the same distance. Good. It's a little on the.
Coming too close.
All right.
We need
Well,
to rub him
maybe
out.
they just grew faster that year. That year.
That was a good year.
Yeah, that was a good year. All right, keep coming down there. Try to do that while the paint is still wet on the surface. I think it looks better if you drag the paint that is on the surface and keep that curve because that again reinforces the roundness of the trunk.
Now
Yeah.
I'm not
All right,
getting-
now that's because you're getting into
It's
dark.
dry.
And it's dry.
Okay.
So you want to now lighten up that. You want to go more toward a lighter shade so that you can see it. You're going to work light into the dark.
Okay.
Okay? Good. Excellent. All right, now how are we going to fix that little fuzzy thing at the bottom there?
This little fuzzy
Yeah.
thing?
This thing right here.
Yes.
Okay, see that paint is almost drying, but we can come back and do it. And we just have to be a real steady hand. All right, I'm going to let you do it.
Okay, I know.
Okay, it's going to be in that brown family. You want to try to match your paint, good.
This family.
Yep. Okay, match your paint, good. And just try on a really steady hand.
Well, that'll be tough.
Oh, you can do it, I know you can. Okay. That's one of the things that over time, when you practice a lot painting, you will develop that technique in your wrist and in your fingers and the
Nice.
steadiness.
Yes, it's a little wavy. I can see.
Yeah. And sometimes, you know, I've had to just put my elbow down there on the flat surface of the workstation and do it. You're getting there. You're getting there. Okay. Oh, well, yeah. Yeah, just a tiny spot there. You won't even notice that when it's done.
Okay.
Okay. So that looks wonderful. Now, one little thing that happened when you patched that is that you lost a little of this guy.
Oh, right.
Go right into it because it's nice and wet and you can lift up some of that paint. Okay. Here we go. All right, now while that's drying, are you comfortable with this? Do you like this?
I don't like it right there. There's some problem with it.
You think it's too dark?
It's too dark.
All right, well, you can always go back. Now, once again, I will wait until it's hard dry. Because if you don't, you can lift that paint that's there and then you get sort of smudgy. So let's wait on that. Let's get our skinny brushes.
Okay.
And let's go to highlighting these palm leaves that have been drying while we've been touching up the trunk of the tree. Okay, once again, the direction of the light. Okay, so can you show me approximately where the light is going to bounce on all the...
Just on the tops. Just on the tops.
Very good. So this will be sort of the darker side of the palm tree, and the tops of these fronds and leaves are going to be needed to be highlighted. Okay, let's go to work. Why don't you start over there on your off-site, off-camera palm.
All right, and I'm using white and yellow
And that yellow-green.
little yellow-green.
Right, and I do like a little gold. That's an iridescent gold that I've put there. And that feels like the sun is hitting it, just like the sun is sort of coming through on the sky. So yes, that's what we need to do, is just highlight those individual palm fronds and palm leaves. These are the leaves that we're working on. And you just do it until you really get it right. You stand back, you look at it, you say, okay, has this got a life in it now? See how this sort of has a flat deadness to it. It's nice and intense. You got a lot of background color to work on, but now it needs to be lifted. It needs to have some vitality to it. So that's what we're working on. Be sure you have enough paint. The other thing, just as we're doing this, I'd like to show you is that if you'll notice this in nature as well, is that right here at the crown of the palm, of the frond, it's sort of like the part in your hair. That's where the greatest amount of light bounces. Right there. You can see how that now starts to lighten up the whole context of the palm frond and the palm leaf.
I can't get this one defined. How do I make that more defined?
It's always a question of light and dark. So sometimes you might have too much light, and to get more definition you might have to put some more dark in there. So try that. This is the calming part of painting. This repetitive, learning the brush stroke, working on your sort of technique. This is the part I enjoy the most. There are not enough palm trees to paint in my lifetime.
Yeah, that's looking better. Actually, that's really what a palm tree kind of looks like. You know, I mean, it kind of does that.
Yeah, some do, some they're all different, but this particular one, yes. All right. Okay, we'll just keep on highlighting.
Now, do you think these are finished highlighting?
I think they need pure whites out on the edges.
I mean, like here.
Yeah, wisping. Here, something like this.
Yeah.
Oh, that bird is just wonderful out there, isn't it?
Yeah, see. How do I?
That's good.
It
How do you
is?
what? How do you what?
Well, it looks like I got it too high.
Well, it's not too high. It's just that it's a little. It's not skinny enough.
defined.
Here, you have to come back and put that in.
Oh, okay.
Light and dark. Light and dark. Good. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That'll give you the. You know, if it looks like it's blobby, then just go back and change the value. You know, oftentimes I'll come back here and do a little orange and yellow in here, you know, just to give it some more life.
Mm-hmm.
But the key thing is that first go round with the.
He's still running.
It's when I lose the paint, I think, on that.
I wanna wake up in the morning where the Spanish moss hangs low, where the gators swim through the Everglades and the grand old live oaks grow. I love the wildwoods and the cities and the friends I've come to know. Wanna make my home in Florida where the orange blossoms grow.
We have finished the highlighting on all the palm fronds and palm leaves, and you'll notice again how the sun shining from this direction is just sort of touching the tips of these leaves over here, and that this side of the tree feels a little bit darker, this side of the trunk feels darker. And Sandra, you just did a fabulous job on the trunk. I love the way this orangey yellow reflection comes up from the sand and the water and the sun that's sort of moving down in the sky. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is this final foreground of a hibiscus hedge. So imagine that you're walking by a Madeira Beach with John's Pass way out in the distance, and then but you're walking by a hibiscus hedge, looking out into Old John's Pass.
Wonderful.
Does that sound familiar?
Yes, it does.
All right. So what we're going to do is, in starting this hibiscus hedge, is I generally start the flower itself and then go into the leaves, because the flower becomes the dominant, the leaves are the accessory to the flower, so you want to place the flower first and then work the leaves into it. So we're going to go into not a pure red hibiscus, but something in that orangey red, orangey pinky red. So we've got a red, those colors on our palette, and we're ready to then lay this in. And it's a really, hibiscus are a fun thing to paint, and once you get your brush ready, and I'm going to let you start on that side, you can just follow me after I put the first petals in. Okay, there's 5 petals on a hibiscus. You can just go out in your yard and count them. So we want to try to get 5 elliptical. Looking familiar?
It does.
Okay, now we want to, now if you will remember, we're going to take a little of that trunk with us, because see, once again, that tree is behind the hedge. So you want to put that hibiscus right over that, even though we work so hard to get that edge straight, we're going to cover it up anyway. You don't know that until you do it. So, okay, we got 2 more, and we want to again overlap, because if you notice hibiscus, they sort of overlap each other. And they also have sort of a ruffly edge like this, which we're really going to put that detail in on the end. But I just did that to sort of show you how we're going to go with this. And then, of course, we're going to have shadows, one petal over the other petal, down in here. Okay, we're going to fill these in. I'm going to let you start on your side.
Okay, now, what size brush?
We have that flat, it's like a 3/4 inch brush.
Maybe this.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay. Now, what are
And
my colors?
you're going to mix a little red and a little orange and a little
What is the red
pink.
color name?
That's cadmium red,
And this pink is
hot pink.
hot pink. Okay.
All right. So we're again, as I say every time, this is the first coat. This will be the base coat to the hibiscus detail, and then we will add that highlights and vibrancy and that intensity with the second coat. So lay that in now. Let's sort of have a little bit of variety. So let's not make it exactly the same. Sort of change it up on your side of the board. Okay?
So maybe half of one.
Okay. One peeking out from the corner of the painting. How does that sound?
That sounds good.
Speaking of sounds, you hear little birds outside chirping away?
Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah. Makes you feel like you're in the all outdoors. Okay, so I'm just adding
Okay.
color.
So now do I work with, when I'm doing the outline, do I work with the whole of the brush or the side of the brush?
You're going to use it more like a pencil, so get that edge. Use the edges rather than the flat side. Use the flat side to carry a lot of paint into the body of the petal.
Squiggled it.
Yep.
Boy, I hate to go over this.
I know you worked so hard on that, but that's okay. That's good.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna fill these petals in over here, and I'm gonna sort of mark where that shadow is going to be and blend that a little bit. This is just the first coat. This is going to be over on the shadow onto this petal.
Are these too big?
You want to make them about the same size as mine, otherwise they'll look like they were even further out. So I think you ought to reduce the size of them just a little bit.
Okay.
You can do that by just taking your rag and follow the outline that you've done, but just bring them down a little bit. As you can see as I'm adding this, okay, lots of water.
That's the good thing, you can erase.
That's right. Boy, that looks brand new.
Looks like
You can change your mind.
I never did it before. Okay.
Okay, we're going to
Wasn't
blend that in, just to get the feeling and the shape. We know that there's a shadow down into the throat of the flower.
Okay, so I should start about here. Right about here then.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
And come out, not up.
You can go up. In fact, you could make this even
Come out that way?
half off the painting. Okay, that.
Okay.
And in this way. And maybe you're only 3 of the petals of this hibiscus you can see.
Okay.
Okay? That's good. All right, just travel along. Fill those in. And as you do that, determine in your mind's eye which of the petals is overlaying the other petal, because that will direct the shadow. Okay? So what I'm doing here is I'm blending a lot of red and the hot pink and some orange and yellow for this first coat. Okay, that's my first pass on my first hibiscus. Okay, and I'm going to move your way with another one, although I'm going to put, what I love about hibiscus is they're a very prolific tropical flower. They bloom almost all year long in Florida, and they're always full of buds. They bloom every day. Their bloom only lasts a day, but then tomorrow you get up and they're just full of blooms again. So they're always budding. That's why I never do a hibiscus without a bud. I never do a hibiscus painting without a bud, because they're always there.
When you fill this in, Beth, so how do you wiggle it?
Just add a lot of water and paint and just fill it in. Of course, I just added dark. Okay.
I still have a hard time taking the water.
I know, it's just something you'll get used to over time. It's just practice. It's like anything else. Riding a bicycle or playing tennis, it's practice and time at it, you know? Okay, now again, I want you to think about where that shadow
coming down. The shadow, I want to overlap this one.
Okay, so where do you
so
think
that
the
I can
shadow
get a
will be?
The shadow will be under.
This petal is on top of this petal?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then the shadow is going to be right there. Okay, one of the things I want to tell you about shadows too, okay, go ahead and fill the rest of that in, is that, you know, I'm basically self-taught, but I did take a 2-night class one time at a community arts center, and I remember what the lady said. The teacher that day said that the one of the colors that you can use that really is a fabulous color for shadow is Prussian blue, a deep navy type Prussian blue. So that's what I've been using right in here. Oftentimes what I do is use a combination of black and deep Prussian blue. Okay, so while I'm moving along here, we'll just meet in the middle. How's that? And while I'm in the green, since I got green on my brush, I'm going to finish these leaves around the first hibiscus bloom. Okay? If you ever notice a hibiscus, they have sort of a, well, they have a leaf that sort of looks like this. Sometimes that's with the edge over. Okay, and then they look like that. And they have little thingies on the end like that, you know? So we're going to try to achieve that. Am I making a mess here? I think I'm getting some pink on the...
Let's see, what color is this? All right, now I need to come here with a shadow so it can get some definition.
Okay. And by the way, I put some Prussian blue there.
Oh, okay,
so you
good.
can use that, a combination of the Prussian blue with the pink-red combo. All right.
Okay, now I want to be a shadow coming here. This leaf is going to be...
This is a petal. Okay, this petal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this petal on top.
Yes,
okay.
petal. I knew that.
Okay.
Petal.
Okay. So where would the shadow be then?
Well, I'm going to have this one over that, so I think it'll be along here. I'm going to have them overlap.
Yes. All right. Well, then it'll be right there. It's good.
It's a little dark.
It's very dark. Let's blend it in. You might want to just dry that off and blend it in with some of the red. And I'm gonna go ahead and help you out there. Okay. You can feather that in. Now, the end of it won't have a shadow on it.
No.
I was just sort of redefining the shape of the petal itself. Yeah, you're getting there. Hey, that's great.